comes to mind when you think of Danny Castellano? Is it sexy, charming, a short king, Mindy Lahiri's one true love, those red glasses? What about abusive asshole? Hello, and welcome to my TED Talk. My name is Jessie, and today we'll be talking about why Danny Castellano is a prick. The Mindy Project is a romantic comedy TV series created by and starring Mindy Kaling. It ran on Fox between 2012 and 2015 before being canceled, and then picked up by Hulu to run for 3 more seasons until 2017. The show went largely underappreciated and unnoticed in its time, being nominated only for 1 Primetime Emmy for costuming. I wonder why that is. Suspicious. Don't get me wrong, the costumes in the show were outstanding, but it deserved to be recognized for far more in addition to that. If you haven't seen the show, do yourself a favor, stop this video, go watch it, and come back when you've seen all 117 episodes. I'll wait. No, don't actually do that. You can stay here. However, I will warn you that there will be spoilers in this video for pretty much all of the seasons, at least pertaining to Danny and Mindy's relationship. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that I idolize Mindy Kaling. I mean, she is one of my biggest inspirations as a writer, and the Mindy Project is one of my favorite shows. Basically, this video is not meant to disparage the show or anyone involved in it. This is just a good old character analysis. The show opens with a voiceover from Mindy about her obsession with romantic comedies and her expectation that she will find love in a similar manner.
High school, Tom Hanks was my first boyfriend.
For as long as we both shall live.
We then see a meet cute between Mindy and Tom, who is played by Bill Hader.
Oh my God. Sorry.
No. Here, let me help you with that stuff.
Sorry. Klutz's party at 2?
Seriously. Met in an elevator? My hair came undone? Are you kidding me? I'm basically Sandra Bullock.
Everything is going perfectly, and then
I moved into his apartment 2 months later.
What does this have to do with the circumstances of your arrest?
I am getting to that. Tom got married last night to someone else. 3 months ago, he met and fell in love with some Serbian girl who sells bagels in the lobby of the hospital. He fixed her teeth, dumped me, and last night they got married.
So now Mindy is restarting her search for love. Enter her romantic counterpart, Danny Castellano.
Daniel Castellano, I'm the man that's gonna take a person out of you.
Unlike Mindy with her wild fantasies about what true love is, he's pragmatic and jaded when it comes to romantic relationships, and he's not going to indulge Mindy's fantasies. So why do we love him? Well, it's hard not to get sucked in by an enemies to lovers story. It's objectively the best romantic progression, and Danny plays his part well. He pushes Mindy's buttons with that 1,000-watt smile, but when the chips are down, he'll always be there for her. And in the quieter moments, we get to see a deeper side of him. When I think back about his character, I tend to remember those sweeter moments. And of course, Diamond Dan. Jesse, this all sounds great. What's the problem? People usually cite season 4 as the downfall of Danny's character because this is when Mindy and Danny officially break off their engagement, and Danny is subsequently written off the show for most of seasons 5 and 6. But the warning signs for this dramatic downfall were there from the start. Danny exhibits classic symptoms of "he teases you because he likes you" syndrome. This is a toxic idea instilled in us from a young age that basically says when a boy bullies a girl, it's just because he secretly likes her. Not only does this teach women to accept abuse and read it as love, it teaches men to express themselves through violence, which further perpetuates toxic masculinity. But let's sprinkle a little nuance in there, shall we? Flirting does involve an element of playful teasing. Just because Danny pushes Mindy's buttons doesn't mean that he's automatically a toxic masculinity. Also, this show is a comedy. The point is to make us laugh. It stands to reason that the two main characters are going to make some jokes at each other's expense every now and again. Mindy punches back at Danny just as much as he teases her. The problem is that Danny crosses the line from being playfully flirty to just straight up mean. Like, a lot. Just look at the difference between the ways that they pick at each other.
My breasts.
Yeah?
Go nuts.
I will. I will. Okay.
Hey, eyes down here.
Shut up, okay? Just
What?
come on,
What?
shut up. Don't do that to me.
What am I doing? I'm sorry. It's just you were doing a good job.
We'll just... guess we'll have to add a little bit of weight.
God, you are such a jerk. How do you sleep at night?
I sleep pretty good.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Danny and Mindy have an on-again, off-again relationship, and pretty much every time Danny makes a move on Mindy, it's because he's jealous of her involvement with another man. Danny even catfishes Mindy to try and win her back.
Dear Mindy, I know I'm breaking our tacit rule by emailing you twice in one day, but here's why. I can't stop thinking about you. I think we should meet in person.
Oh my God.
Please let me know if you're interested. Oh, how I hope that you are. If this correspondence has even the slightest chance of changing our lives forever, don't you think we owe it to ourselves to explore it?
I do. I have a good feeling about you, Mindy Lahiri.
And throughout their relationship, Danny exhibits incredibly controlling and manipulative behavior. He hides their relationship from his friends and family.
Your mother loves me.
She thinks you're my cleaning lady.
He refuses to stay at Mindy's apartment while also not allowing her to keep anything at his. He reads her diary, he tries to control her time management and her eating habits, and is just generally unwilling to compromise on anything unless and until there's a threat of a breakup. All of this builds up to Mindy wanting to start a fertility clinic and Danny not being supportive because he wants her to be a stay-at-home mom for their son Leo. And in order to get what he wants, he makes her feel guilty about going back to work and then tries to get her pregnant without her knowledge. Better love story than Twilight? But that's kind of the point. The Mindy Project returns to this idea of contrast between romantic comedies and real life over and over again. Mindy views her love life through the lens of romantic comedies, which makes for some pretty sweet moments, but it's also very limiting. Anything outside of the timeline of a romantic comedy is outside of Mindy's control, and she doesn't really know how to handle it.
So, forever is scary for me too. Alright? Do you know in my shower there's that ledge for shampoo? It's like that big. I could never share that with somebody else.
Oh, you gotta get a shower caddy. It falls on you sometimes, but it's worth it.
Rom-coms give her a blueprint for how to start a relationship, but they never clarify what happens after you kiss at the top of the Empire State Building. And the Mindy Project is continuing that story and telling us what actually happens, and it's not always love and fairy tales. This is where Mindy and Danny help each other quite a lot, actually. They're used to getting what they want on their terms all the time. But when they're together, they have to compromise because what they want is often quite different. So when they finally split in season 4, it's kind of the start of the final leg of their journeys of growth. Danny has to learn that he can't control everything, and he demonstrates this change in the final season when he offers to fund Lahiri fertility, which he was previously opposed to. And Mindy needs to learn that life is not a romantic comedy. And we can tell that she has learned this lesson too. By the final episode, it's clear that Mindy is content with her single life. If she never dated anyone again, she would be perfectly happy. She's chosen to be alone rather than stay married for the sake of just having someone around. Their reunion in the final episode is a perfect bookend to the first episode, and even after everything that's happened, their relationship does feel earned, which is no easy feat. You know, portraying this type of relationship in TV is pretty tricky. You have to maintain the sexual tension while also progressing the relationship to keep the audience interested, but once the couple gets together, the sexual tension completely drops off. This is why a lot of your favorite classic TV couples either break up soon after getting together or keep their relationship a secret for a period of time. This allows the audience to feel satisfied that the relationship is progressing and they're not stuck in a will they won't they loop, while also keeping that sweet, sweet sexual tension. Just think about it. Jim and Pam, JD and Elliot, Ross and Rachel, Leslie and Ben, Nick and Jess. Mindy and Danny are no different. They have to be on and off so much to keep the story exciting, but to be off, there has to be some sort of disagreement. And the more they break up, the more Danny kind of slides into the asshole territory. Not like that, though. Well,
Have you ever been with a girl in bed and then accidentally slipped.
Nope, Danny's lying.
What?
The other issue to tackle is that in episodic stories like this, you can only have so much character development. Sure, when we look at Mindy over the course of the entire series, she's definitely changed, but you have to watch yourself. If the characters improve too much, there won't be anywhere to pull conflict from. Danny's stubborn and curmudgeon-y ways are a huge source of conflict within the show, and while Mindy can certainly help him make forward progress on this, he can't fully turn into the Prince Charming that we all want him to be, because otherwise this story would be over. So individual episodes address specific issues with Danny, like his problem with letting Mindy into his space or his need to control her time management, but his overall view of relationships and commitment doesn't really change. What I do really appreciate about the Mindy Project is their acknowledgement of Danny's awful behavior. A lot of other shows with this type of dynamic either brush off serious behavior by romantic partners or blow up small issues to make them bigger than they are simply through miscommunication. Mindy, however, doesn't accept Danny's shitty behavior, and she pushes back on it in generally proportional ways. When Danny lectures Mindy about being late, she changes his alarm to try and make him late for work. That's a mostly harmless prank.
Danny Castellano will be late.
I made it! I made it! Danny Castellano is on time! 8:59! I made it! In your face, Lahiri!
But when Danny wants to get Mindy back, he catfishes her and then stands her up at the top of the Empire State Building? Yikes. But Mindy doesn't just accept his behavior, she calls him on his bullshit.
You're a liar. You/Andy made me break up with Charlie.
Okay.
And then he stood me up at my favorite place in the entire world.
I didn't want to tell you because I knew this would happen. I knew it would push you away. I love you. Mindy, I love you. I want to be with you. Look at me. I want to be with you.
I don't believe you.
Yes, you do.
I don't believe you.
Why?
Because you love me until you don't.
And when Danny doesn't support her business and tries to get her pregnant, she makes the difficult decision to leave him. I think this is really the direction we should be striving for when writing these types of relationships. There's always going to be a need for drama and on-again, off-again relationships, but we should emphasize that this is not how a normal, healthy relationship should function. Make the text call out your character's shitty behavior, and don't let them be redeemed until they can demonstrate that they understand why what they did was wrong. And for all of his flaws, I do think the writers did this for Danny pretty successfully with what little time they had to work with. And I think in general, he's a tremendously written character. He's incredibly distinct. He has very clear goals, motivations, and opinions, and I felt like his actions always felt consistent with his character. And that's what we call in the biz good writing. So, Danny Castellano, another example of you can love something while still being critical of it. That's becoming my motto these days. At least we'll always have Diamond Dan. Thank you so much for watching. I don't really know what this was. I kind of just wanted to talk about Danny Castellano today. He's a very interesting character, and I don't think the Mindy Project gets talked about enough, and that's like totally uncool, not fair. So that's what I'm doing today. I am giving Mindy Kaling what she deserves. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, and I'll work on some more essay style videos. If you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe. I'm posting videos every week about screenwriting related topics and ideas. And as always, I will leave the links to follow me in the description below, and I will see you next time. Bye.